Welcome in the sewing room. Welcome back. Welcome back. Those of you that have been here before, welcome back. I'm so tickled to death to see you. I don't know how many of y'all have watched this video. I did it way back early in the spring, early spring, where I did this right here. Put the zebra and the giraffe on the pockets of this little short awl thing here. And I'm telling you, I have compliments on this everywhere I wear it. People will stop me and ask me, did you do that? Or where did you get that? Or all kinds of compliments. And then, of course, it's got the sloth on the back. Right here. And so they make a long version. Yes, they do, of the same. I'm calling it more of a jumpsuit. It's not really overalls per se. But look what I've got. I've got denim ones that are long pants that I can wear this winter. Yay! And so we got to put something on the pockets. We've got to make them even cuter than they already are. And they're cute enough as it is. They are free people. That's the brand that they are. They're called High Roller. Does it tell you right here? It doesn't tell you. I think they're called High Rollers or something like that. Just Google it and you'll find them. They'll come up if you want them. Okay? You got these beautiful big pockets here that measure about 9 inches from here to here. From about here to here, they measure around 9 inches. So I decided, I went through all of So Many Designs by Jackie Heron. That's who does this, and she's in South Australia. I reached out to her way back, almost a year ago, I guess. And she gave me a few of her designs, and I've purchased some just because I just feel like, I wanted to purchase some. She gave me so many, and I needed a few more. So, instead of asking her, even though she told me, you don't have to buy my designs, I will send them to you to do the videos. But I just felt like, she put the work into them, I would buy some. So I bought some as well as some that she sent me. And I've got just about all of them. And we're making a quilt out of them. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. A t-shirt quilt with these designs is going to be so incredibly cute, so soft, and so much fun to just snuggle up under this winter. I can't wait to get it finished. And I'm working on it, you all. When I get free time, I try to work on it a little bit. And I'm getting there. I've got all the designs ready just to sandwich together. I do. Once I get them sandwiched together, I'll bring y'all along and kind of show you a little bit about how we're putting it together and how we're going to put the whole quilt together. But right now, I've got these designs right here. I'm doing the little skunk because I think it's just so cute. And these are all going in the big quilt too. And I'm going to do the bunny rabbit. These are the two I decided to put on the pockets of this. And I thought I wanted to do something a little different, not just quilters cottons and print fabrics. That's what I've done. All my designs of hers have just been done with quilt cotton. I wanted something a little bit different. I'm like, I want something a little different to mix things up just a little bit. And I had some old jeans, pieces and parts, scraps of jean fabrics. I've got these right here that were the misters that were, ripped up, non-repairable. And then I had this pair right here. It's just a dark blue denim. And then I have this pair right here that I bought at the thrift store that's got this real light here and some lighter here. So you kind of got two colors on this one pair. See that? And then I've got some black, an old pair of black. So I wanted to do them in just denims, different colors and shades of denim. Because always before, I have always put a blanket stitch around them. These I'm not. These I'm going to leave to fray the edges because I just think that's going to be so cute. Just let them all fray and be fuzzy. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm anxious to see how it's going to look. And I'm doing something else a little different with these. I downsized them. The skunk, I made a 60% of its original size. Okay, this is 60% of its original size. And the rabbit, I did 50% of its original size to get them the size that would fit my pockets. Okay, so I just took them over to the copier or printer, print them out. If you're printing them, just print them smaller because there's a setting, I'm sure you all have it too, where you can go in and change the size that you want to make it. So print them, to fit your pockets, whatever size pocket or whatever you're putting it on. If you don't want it great big, the normal size, or if you want it even bigger, make it even bigger. So you can resize these. They do real well that way. And I thought, what am I going to put this on? I thought, well, flannel. And then I thought I don't have enough white flannel to do it on, like I usually put mine on white flannel. And I had these just plain flour sack towels laying over here, and I went, that'll work. Anything will work. So I just traced it onto a flour sack towel. And the way you do that is you take this and you lay it on a light table, or you tape it to a window that the sun is coming in, and you let nature be your light table. And then you tape or place this over the top of that and you trace it. Easy peasy. I use a heat erasable for two reasons. One, if I draw a line, I just bring it over to the iron, take the iron across it, and it disappears. Fabulous, fantastic, love that. And then two, if when I'm sewing it together, some of my pieces don't come actually to where the lines are, they disappear. Perfectly, easy peasy, wonderful. I love these erasable pens. And these are truly just erasable pens that I picked up at Wally World. It just says it's erasable right there. Just says erasable. So, and they work. You just take the iron to it and it disappears. I've used them many, many times. And they come in lots of different colors. So that's a handy tip for the day. All right. I've already got the little skunk ready right here. Look how cute he is with all of his. Look how cute he is. Isn't he cute? And we've got to cut out some little flowers to put here and around the bottom of him because he needs little flowers. And we're going to do our rabbit. And I'm going to show you all, and I've shown you all this in different videos. I've made, I don't know how many of these designs with you all, but maybe you've not seen them. If you've already seen it, skip on through. Maybe you just want to watch again. I don't know. But whatever, I'm going to do it again so that everyone can see how to do this. All righty? All righty then. All right, these are what it's going on to. This is the last part of our project. I'm going to lay those over there out of the way because we do not need those for a while. Probably be tomorrow before we get to that point. All right. Here's some more fabrics. denims. Let's get us our pieces out here so that we have what we need. But we had a little more of that dark. There's a little bit of it. There's a little more of the black. I'm going to try to save these pockets on the back here because I've got another project where you use jean pockets. I do. I want to show you all it. It's so cute. Look at this. And I love this. I don't want to cut that. I want to use that on something, you know, for over 145 years. This is a pair of them. Well, they look like they're about 145 years old, I'm telling you. But I'm just going to come over here and cut down through here and cut me out some of this right here. So we have a piece of this. Okay. And put those down there. I think we've got enough of that color. If we don't, then we'll get some more. Okay. Now then, I think we've probably got enough here. I am going to use just a tiny little bit of quilt cotton, probably for the inside of his eyes and maybe his mouth. I used a little bit of red for his mouth. I may use that here. But I want to show you all how to do this. It's a really simple process. Your children would love to do this. They would. And then you could sew it, or you could teach them to sew it, depending on their ages and so forth and so on. The thing about it, when you cut them down, some of your pieces become so tiny. Like, look at these little tiny eye pieces, that I will not be appliquing these pieces. I will be using my fabric markers for that, because they are so incredibly tiny, tiny, tiny. So just be aware that when you make them this small, some of your pieces you may not need because they're just going to be lost. And I'm just kind of fussy cutting out around some of these. And I will probably just take them and look at what it is and decide what color I want it out of. His outer face. And his forehead. I'll lay those back there just in case I were to need them for something, although I hope I do not. And because I'm not going to blanket stitch around these, see, look at this piece right here. This is the tiniest little piece. It's not even hardly as big as my fingernail. Just tiny little piece there. And it goes right here. So I probably will just include that in with this piece, maybe. I don't know yet. Here's his nose. That needs to be dark. And there's the left side of his face that comes down through here. These are parts of his eyes. These are big pieces of the eye. Comes down through right here. We'll put those out of that, as well as his forehead. No, put the forehead out of this color right here. And the eyes out of that color. See, because I'm not using the cottons of the different prints and so forth, I've got to make sure that I don't have two pieces that touch out of the same fabric, if that makes sense. It's the outer face, which is down here. So his outer nose. Let's do that right there. Nope. Inner nose, outer nose. All right, we're going to try that. Okay, the left side of his face and the right side of his face. We'll try out of the black. Because I've only got like 4 colors to work with. Maybe 5 if you count the really faded out here. And this, it's a little lighter blue. So this is the way I'm doing it. And I just lay them on there so I know I'm cutting everything out of the right color. Okay? Just lay your pieces on so that you know. Here are our ear pieces. This left ear has 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So this will go with the darker. And then this piece goes right here on that outer edge. We'll go with that. And this piece goes right in here. Comes up right like that. We'll do it out of this one. And this one goes right here along this edge, and we'll put it out of this dark black. All right. Now then, we got to figure out the same thing with the right ear. So the main ear will be the dark blue. This little piece right here is this outer edge piece. So we could do it this color. This piece will go right in there. Let's do it that color. And that piece will do the black. Okay? I did it the same way. Okay. Wasn't really looking at that, but that works. That's perfect. All right, now then we've got his body and the 2 shadow pieces of his body to do. So his body, let's do this right here, this color. do his body this color right here, and we'll do the shadows of the body out of this and this. And we cut those out after we cut this piece out, okay? So now we have all of our pieces laid where we want them according to color. And so now we're just going to start gluing them on our fabric with a glue stick so that let's see if I can get them all out of this. I don't think I can, but no. So I'll just leave that piece and I'll cut this one right here. Okie doke. Now then, here are our black pieces. And I think this piece I'm just going to color, but I'm going to put it there anyway so I can remember that that just gets colored in because it's so tiny. If it frayed any at all, it would just come apart. Some of these others are that same way, but you know, we'll see how we can get them. Now then, let's see. Let's get this piece here. And I'm just gluing them down just well enough to hold them so that I can cut them out. Okay? You just need them to hold on there so that you can cut them out. Because you don't want them to be permanently on there. Okay, now then, I'm going to cut this. Get it out of our way. And just leave the pieces here that we're cutting from. All right, now then I'll lay all that over there to the side. I'm going to use these scissors because they are much sharper and much easier to cut. They just cut much better, much smoother. And then you just start building your rabbit or your skunk or your giraffe or your zebra or whatever you're building. And I don't stick mine down. I kind of learned this the hard way because some of these pieces overlap. So you just want to lay this down right like that. Get it into place. Get it in position. Okay? But you do not want to glue it down just yet. This one is our left ear. And you see how that comes down? You pull it up just a little bit, but it's supposed to come down because then this piece fits over the top of it. Okay, just like this. So there's the basics of our little bunny rabbit right there. All right, now then let's get his body. Here is his little body. See how that just fits right there perfectly? All these pieces over there, as I cut them and take the tops or take the pattern pieces off of them, I'm laying them over to the side because they'll go in the trash when we're finished. Okay, here's his forehead, and this goes right here. He's already looking so cute, you all. So cute. This is his outer nose. And now see, you can raise this up and you can see where this goes. And it goes right here. Just like that. Now then, these are part of his ears. I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to get the rest of his nose. And the side of his face. When you're cutting out small things, good sharp scissors are great. You don't want your scissors to be so big that whatever you're cutting is just, they're really hard to maneuver. This goes like that right there's his nose. He's coming together just lovely. Lovely, lovely. Now then, I need something red right there. And I do not know and I do not think that my red marker will show up. So I'm going to take me a little thing right here and I'm going to test it. And see on a piece of this right here and see if this red will show up. It does, but it's so very faint that I don't know that you all can even see that. So I may have to take some thread and stitch his little mouth because it is so teeny tiny that I may just take a little piece of embroidery floss or something to stitch his mouth on there. Okay, let's get the left side of the face. Now then, here is this. And this goes right along here. Just like that. It gives it just a little depth. Okay? And this right side of the face is so teeny tiny, I am going to take my marker and fill that in. Here are his eyes, the outer portion of his eyes. This one is the right eye, and it goes right like this. Right like that. Here's the outer left eye. And the reason I don't go ahead and stick them down is because sometimes you need to shift them just a little bit from your original position. And it just makes it a little easier to do. This piece goes right in here then. See that? Right in there. This right here needs to be curved just a hair bit. Okay, now then, let's do his ears. We still got 3 pieces to do for the ears. This is part of his left ear. And I think, I'm going to see if I can find a picture of this so I can kind of glance at it. Here it is. Here's my picture. If you go by this, you can kind of see where this goes, and it goes right along here. Right along, right like that. That is where that goes. Okay. Now this is the right ear. And it will go right along in here. Goes right there. All righty, we're just moving right along here. Now then, we've got these pieces and these pieces. Okay. Then we've got to cut us some flowers to go with both of our designs. And I'm just going to cut them out as I go. This was the right ear, and this goes right here along this outer edge. Goes right there. Okay. And here's the left ear. This one goes in the middle. This one goes right along here. Right in there, just like that. Got two more little pieces. One of them is so very thin. This one goes right along here, just like that. And this one goes right along here, just like that. Alrighty, there we go. There's our rabbit for the most part. Okay, he still needs his eyes. So, we've got some options. And those pieces are so tiny, so teeny, teeny, tiny. But he's got 3 pieces of his eye. That I'm thinking we might just draw these on. We'll use the blue and the black, and we'll leave the white there. You know, let's draw them on here and see what they look like. This comes in right along through here, and I'm just kind of freehanding this, you all. And this one comes in right here at the top, about right there. And it comes in right down along through here, right like this. These are permanent markers. All right, now let's take our black. We also need to come in here with this black right along here. This is that little tiny piece that we chose not to add, okay? Now then, we're going to come in here. We're going to cover almost all of this, but we're going to leave just a tiny little bit for the pupil, the very tiny little pupil that he will have. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Now then, it doesn't look too bad. I'm not crazy about them. But we'll look at them a minute. If we don't like them, we'll cut more pieces. That's what you do. I think if he got his little mouth, and it's a tiny, tiny little mouth, Makes him look a little happier, but it's too big. Let's keep cutting it down. Okay, now we don't have these pieces yet. Where are those? I thought we had those, but we didn't cut them out, did we? I know that we had them. I don't believe. Here they are. That's right, we've got to cut them out of here. This is the right side of his body. Let's do these in this really dark blue denim right here. Okay, here's the right side. Here's that piece. Got one more. That's all of our pieces then. This has to go up underneath his neck or his head. This piece goes right here. It goes up underneath all of this. Right, like that. This is the reason you don't glue them all down at one time. And there's our little bunny. Isn't he cute? Isn't he cute? Isn't he just the cutest? Okay, now then, this is the way I'm going to cut some flowers. I'm just going to take my denim here, turned it over on the back, and you just need to cut you out a flower shape. And then we'll cut us out some little circles for the center. Then we'll decide if we like him, or if we want to use some of our flowers. Or what we want to do. Now there's those flowers, and we've got this little basket. Oh, nope, that's not it. Here's my little basket of all of our little fussy cut pieces that we've already got our steamer seam on. All these little flowers. Lots and lots of little flowers. And doodads and leaves, and there's a butterfly. But I think I like the denim ones best. But I'm thinking I like the denim. Thinking I don't like the colors. I like the denim. And I think his eyes just need to be a bit bigger. So we're going to make his eyes a little bit bigger. He looks like a dog with big ears sticking straight up. Something about him doesn't look like a rabbit. Something about him doesn't look like a rabbit. And just know you can always recut pieces. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's been a few days. Yes, it has. I took yesterday to spend the day with Mr. Andy. He had a birthday, so we celebrated his birthday yesterday. So I didn't get a chance to jump back on here with you all and kind of finish up our overalls. And I'm really excited to get these done. I am. This shouldn't take too much longer. We've got the part that took the longest finished. I'm turning y'all down so you can see. Here's our little skunk. He's just so cute, just adorable. And I've cut out, I decided they needed just a pop of color. And they both called for flowers and things, so I pulled these out of my collage quilting bowl of pieces and parts. And we're gonna layer these on a little bit later when we get him all done, okay? And here's our rabbit. And here's our pieces for it. I'm just going to lay those to the back there. But he's not been glued down yet. He's just laying here. So we need to glue him down, all right? So to do that, I'm just going to start with these pieces like this right here. Find me something I can turn over here. The top pieces that go onto his ears. That go right like this. Just lay over the top. I'm just going to lay these down like that, okay? And this one goes in here, I believe. Let's see which is the right side and which is the wrong side. Here's the wrong side. Let me turn on this light back here, help us all. Oh, that's much better. Yes, it is. Much, much better. And then we've got one more little piece that goes to the outside over here. I'm going to do the same with this ear. And you want to start with the pieces that you're layering first, because then they lay down a lot better. In fact, I can pick this up and bring it right over here. You want to start with the pieces that are down against the others. Now then, we can lay this right down here where it goes, because our head goes on top of our ear. Okay, it kind of overlaps it just a little bit. So we're going to put this ear on next. Uh-oh. Then we're going to do his face. So, here we go. This piece goes, this is the part that goes right down the middle of his face, right here. This goes right like this. And then there's this eye. It goes on here, right like this. Right like that, and then the other eye. Okay. If I can get a hold of it, goes on right like this. You all, I worked and worked and worked because I wasn't sure that I even liked the way he looked, but it took me a little bit, and I had to look at him several times to decide that, you know, and say, yeah, that he looks okay. Now this also goes over this, so we want to do this part down here next. Alright? Pull all of our little blades of grass and so forth up. We're going to lay this down. Because this piece goes down here next, just like this. And this piece It's right over here on this side. This one goes right in here. This goes where? I don't even know, you all. Oh, it goes right up here on his face, I believe. Right like that. Is that where that goes? It does. It goes right like that. Right here. Now then, we can put this all down. Now then, haha. Now these I will add later, okay? But first, what I want to do now is, he's all done and ready. We've got this piece right here, and it's just denim. Nothing, just a piece off of those jeans that I just whacked off. I'm going to cut this in case it were to turn under. I don't want that in my applique piece. All right, now then, I'm going to lay this right on here. And I want to make sure that I've got denim all the way around this, okay? A good amount. I probably ought to press that because that looks like that's kind of stretched there a little bit. All right, and I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to pull up all of our little pieces that we're going to use. Lay those back there because we'll add all those in a little bit, okay? Then we're going to go over to the machine and we're going to stitch this with a straight stitch. I'm not using a blanket stitch this time. We are using a straight stitch. I'm going to cut this off so I can kind of see where I'm at here. Just using a straight stitch. All right. And I am going to glue this down just a little bit. All right. So I'm going to turn it over and you can see my drawing. So that's where my pieces are. So I want all this kind of glued down a little bit so he doesn't start slipping and sliding on me, because he could and then he would be a mess. And, you know, we don't want that. Kind of turn him this way just a little bit because his tail. We're going to do the same thing with our bunny rabbit. We're going to glue him down. And I'm just, you know, wildly cutting this to make sure that I get him plenty around him, okay, of this. Because the same thing goes for this one. I want to make sure, because we're going to leave that denim around the edges when we sew him onto our pocket. Okay. Let me press this piece down. All right. I like to use an open toe foot on this. So if I can zoom y'all in so you can see it just a little bit better. See this? I like to use this open-toed foot because you can see where you're stitching. So much easier. And like I said, I'm just going to use a straight stitch all the way around each piece. Okay, and I'm going to come in, about the width, about this much right here. I'm going to set that right there on the edge. And I'm going to come in right like that because I want it to fray. I want them to be fuzzy when they're all done. And I'm just going to stitch straight around this, stopping ever so bit to turn my fabric. And I'm going to go around it one more time. And then I'm going to back stitch it. And I'm going to stop. And I'm going to go around every one of these pieces, okay? Every one of them. Alrighty, here are our little designs. Right like this. And I cut them out. Just took my scissors and cut around them after I had them stitched onto that other piece of denim, okay? Now then, we've got to place them on our pockets and stitch around them, okay? And I have sat here and played and played and played with all of these little pieces, trying to decide if I want to add all these color pieces or not. And this was my original plan right here. No, not a lot of color, all denim. This has got more color because it's got the black denim here. And I maybe should have just gone with a dark blue, but after all, he is a skunk, right? And he's got just a little color on his mouth and his nose and his eyes, and the mouth and the eyes here, okay? And I just stitched that with some red thread. But I had thought about adding some of these, possibly in here like this. Just adding some flowers. Maybe putting this little bunny rabbit over here. Or a butterfly or something like that. But the more I look at it, and I've looked at it for a while now, I think I just like my original plan of the all denim without adding any more color. Just the denim. I just like that look. So I think I'm going to leave it just like this. But I am going to add here some more pieces of grass. Okay. So when I stitch him on, then I'm going to come in here and add more pieces of grass up through here. And I may have to cut me a few more. And I'll show you all how I did that. Here's another big long one. I'll show you all how I did that right here. I just took my scissors and came in here and just started cutting, just cutting. Just cut. No, there's no pattern, no nothing. I just cut out pieces. Because I think he needs to be made just a little bit bigger because the skunk fills out the entire pocket, and he fills out a little more height wise, but not as much width wise. So we want him to kind of look kind of be the same proportions here. So the skunk we're ready to glue down. We can find our glue stick. Right here it is. And we just glue him. And then we'll fray him just a little bit, but the more you wash him, the more he's going to fray and the fluffier he's going to get, because we left some around the edges so that he would fray. Okay? Because that is what we wanted him to do. So we're just going to put him on here right like this. Push him down. And we're using a glue stick instead of something else because we want all of this around here to fray. See, I've already frayed a little bit of it. Just take your finger or a toothbrush. There's an old toothbrush, or it's not an old one, it's just one I use up here for things. And you can just come in here and just brush it. If you have a chenille brush, that's perfect. And I've got one, or I used to have one, that I've not done any chenilling in so many years. I'm really not sure that I even still have it. But this toothbrush will work, because all you're wanting to do is just scrub it up so that it'll just kind of be a little fluffy. See? That's what you're doing. And you can also just use your fingers. But you just want to do it like that. And like I said, the more you wash him, the more he's going to fray and the fluffier he's going to get. And he's going to be so cute. Yes, he is. All right, so now we're going to lay our bunny rabbit down here. We're going to glue him on. And then we're going to add some more pieces of grass. And then we're going to add our grass. And we'll stitch these on as we stitch him on, okay? Because we didn't want to have to cut around these. Put as much or as little of these little grass squiggles as you want. I might come in here with a few darker ones. What do y'all think? We'll lay them on there and see what we think, won't we? And these I'm just kind of stitching up to the middle and a little wider at the bottom, but I'm just leaving it, a lot of it, to fray up here at the top. Because I think that'll look the best. Where's our dark denim? We had a piece of it over here somewhere. Yes, we did. Our dark blue. I don't know what we did with it. All right, now then, this is what they look like. There's our bunny rabbit. I'm bringing you over so you can see them right side up. There's our bunny rabbit, and I think they're just absolutely precious. Precious. Look at the bunny. He looks better on camera than he does even right here. I mean, he's just so cute. And then there's our little skunk. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness, he's so cute. He's stinking cute is what he is. He's just stinking cute. Okay, now then, I'm going to go over there to the machine and I'm going to stitch all these pieces of grass that I just added. And I'm going to stitch all the way around this bunny. right in here. And I'm going to leave this edge so that we can fray it. And I'm going to stitch all the way around this. I've pulled my pockets loose, so I'm not stitching all the way through. I'm just stitching the pocket, okay? Just this part. I'm just stitching this part, okay? And then I'm going to stitch my pockets back on. And they're finished. And I can take them downstairs and throw them in the washing machine so they can fray real pretty before I wear them. And I'm so excited. I'm going to wear them one day this week. I am. I've got some things I have to do, and I'm going to wear these. I am so excited. I just cannot hardly stand it. I love, 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 love these. I loved my short ones this summer. And so I know that I'm going to wear these a lot this fall and winter. I am. I'm going to wear them a lot. You can wear them with a sweatshirt. You can wear them with a t-shirt. You can wear them with a blouse, in any color. And I saw the cutest shoes. I have to tell y'all my story. I saw the cutest shoes. I think y'all might still be zoomed in. You are. I saw the cutest shoes online. They just popped up on my, somewhere. I don't even know where I was at, what app I was in. And I clicked on them because they were denim, and they were different colors of denim, and they were kind of frayed. And I said, oh my mercy, I need those shoes to wear with these overalls I'm making. I did. And they were Kate Spade. Oh my gosh, they were Kate Spade. And yes, they were very, very expensive. And I just could not justify the price for a pair of tennis shoes. I just could not. We've got to put a roof on the house, and this has nothing to do with that. But oh my gosh, roof prices. Oh my mercy. It's just unbelievable what it's going to cost us to put a roof on our house. And stuff is just, and I know I'm telling y'all everything. I bought groceries. I do a Sam's order about every 6 to 8 weeks. My Sam's order was over $800. Oh my word. It's because I bought a lot of meat. But I didn't buy expensive meat. I bought hamburger meat and chicken. Yeah, and some sausage so we can have spaghetti. But y'all know it too. Everything's just more expensive right now. It is. And so I just could not justify spending, they were over $200 for one pair of shoes. I just could not do that. Even though I probably would wear them. And I may buy some. Amazon had some for like $30 that were similar. I can't decide if I'm going to order those or not. I may later, but who knows? Who knows what I'm liable to do? We don't know, do we? All right, I'm going to take this over there. I'm going to stitch all the way around this and stitch these pieces of grass that I just added and stitch around the skunk. And then I'm going to stitch my pockets back down, and I'll be finished. And I'll come back and show them to you when they're all done. And just like that, they're finished. Aren't they cute? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to wear them. Oh my goodness gracious. These are so cute. I can't wait to wash them and see how fuzzy they get. I know. Aren't they cute? I love, 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 love them. I do. I do, I do, I do, I do, I do. They turned out exactly as I had envisioned they would. But I had my doubts along the way. As I processed it and looked at it, I was like, it doesn't look like I want it to look. But now that they're finished, they're perfect. They're absolutely perfect. My rabbit was the one that gave me the most run for my money, so to speak. But once I added all the grass to get him behind it, he was perfect. He is. He's perfect. And my little skunk, he's perfect too. They're just perfect. I absolutely love them. So these are the designs by So Many Ideas, SEW, Many Ideas by Jackie. She's on Etsy. I'll put a link in my description box. That's where these came from. I'm not sure if she gifted me these or if I purchased them. I know she gave me the skunk, but I think I purchased the rabbit. But I have a ton of her designs. Some I've been gifted and some I've purchased. I love them. Absolutely love her designs. I've created some of my own, but I just love hers. I go back to hers all the time, over and above the ones that I've done. Hers kind of all fit together in a theme, so to speak. Mine don't. I've just got one here, one there. They're all willy-nilly because that's the way my brain works. My brain doesn't, compress things together. But I love the way these turned out. I do. I will be wearing them a lot this fall and winter. It's still shorts weather out here. It's October the 6th. It's still shorts weather here. Although we have cool nights. And when I go out at night, I wear a jacket, yes, and long sleeves and long pants. And we went out to eat. So y'all go check out her designs. I've got a quilt in the works. I do, with 20 of her designs. And I've got them all ready to go on to the pieces to be put together. I'm gonna get them all done but one, and then I'm gonna show you the process for one, and then we'll finish the quilt. But it's taken me a while, so rather than film a little bit here and a little bit there, I'm just saving it to the end, one complete block to do with you all, and then the rest of them I will have already completed. And we'll get it put together. And I'm anxious to get it done because it's getting quilt weather, snuggly weather, and it's going to be the most snuggly quilt ever. It's going to be my couch quilt. I can't wait to get it finished. I've got so many projects I want to do with you all. My head just spins constantly. Oh my gosh, I need to do this. And oh my gosh, what do I need to do the worst? Oh, I want to do this. Oh no, maybe I need to do that. That's the way my brain works, you all. I've got a list, a notebook over here with a list of things I want to sew with you all. And I'm like, what do I do first? And I'm like, oh, I'll do this. And I'm like, oh no, this needs to go before that. And oh, I really want this done. So that's the way my brain works. Sometimes I just have to stop and say, okay, I'm going to go down this list right here and get it all done. So, but thank you all for watching and hanging out with me today in the sewing room. I appreciate it. And I'm so glad you all were here. If you could hit that subscribe button for me, it means the absolute world to me. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately, and the channel is growing, and I am tickled to death to have each and every one of you. It's like you all are my best friends in the whole wide world. I look forward to reading your comments. I look forward to putting up a video so I can read your comments on the video. So, if you watch them, leave me a comment. Say hi from wherever you live, whatever state it is, or send me an email. I'm getting emails from lots of you all, and I'm just tickled to death. I love to chat back and forth with you via email. Some of you have asked for advice on sewing. I'm glad to share whatever I can along the way. Even if it means a FaceTime call, we can do that. So if you have questions or concerns with a sewing project you're doing, send me an email. We'll discuss it that way, and if that doesn't work, maybe we can do a FaceTime call. Whatever works for you will work for me. So hit the subscribe button. Leave me some comments because I love those comments. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. I try to put up at least 3 a week, and some weeks 4 if I've gotten the content created. It takes a while to create it, and then edit it, then get it up. And with life, sometimes I just can't muster to get that many. And so I try to get up at least 3 a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and sometimes y'all get a bonus on Saturday or Sunday. So that's all for this one. I thank you all for watching and hanging out with me, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in the sewing room today.